Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Dota 2 Champions League here, day number 1. We've got a best-of-3 series between Navi and Liquid. Of course, Navi now up 1-0 in this series, and we're coming at you live with Game 2 here on Dota Radio. Thank you so much for joining us, folks. I'm Zyori. Joining me once again is Hippie, and we're ready to get underway. Hippie, my friend, I know we were both quite excited to see that first match, but even more excited to see what happens here in game number 2. Can Liquid do it and level out this series to take us into a third game ace match?
I think can they isn't a question. We know they have the potential. I mean, will they is definitely a question, but they're known kind of for... Liquid is a team that's always been almost a little bit out front of the rest of the metagame. They started using Clockwork before a lot of people really did. They were one of the, aside from Dignitas, they were one of the first teams to really experiment with Visage, who has become such an insane hero in the current metagame. And I mean, they're always trying these little new things. They obviously, I mentioned last game, the Naga Dusa Elder Titan combo. They were one of the teams that pioneered that, along with 4FC at the time. And so we're seeing that Liquid has these little ideas. They're willing to experiment. They don't feel locked into the current meta as much as some other teams do, which gives them a bit of an advantage at times. It means sometimes they do some things that are a little shaky and don't quite work out, but they can always, end up surprising you with something that didn't even occur to you.
That's absolutely true. A team that has built that reputation up for a good reason. And let's take a look at some of the first bans here. Liquid going to start us off with bans on Wisp as well as the Life Stealer. Navi going to go ahead and take out the Naga Siren as well as the dreaded Bat Rider this time around. So with that, Navi going to be able to first pick the Elder Titan, and we'll see what Team Liquid want to grab with their first two picks here. So again, that Elder Titan, the hero that really needs no introduction. Can't say I'm surprised to see him first picked. But we'll see how Navi utilize him here, and if it will indeed be the same thing with Kuroki playing support.
It usually is. I mean, again, I've said Dendi can do it. I think Funnet can definitely do it as well if they need to. But I think Kuroki is definitely their preferred player for that Elder Titan. He likes to do it. He handles it very, very well. We saw him get some good shots out, some really good Earth Splitters in Game 1. So, I mean, it would not shock me if the assumption on Liquid's side as they're drafting this is that it's going to be Kuroki.
Absolutely right. So with that, some scary heroes do make it through, and one of them being Outworld Devourer, as he is second picked by Navi here, and Liquid actually going to be able to grab Visage to go with their Nature's Prophet. So some scary heroes to start things off. We see Navi. We've seen this actually many a time where Outworld Devourer makes it through and he's not first picked. If you can fourth pick him in terms of your team's second pick when you have first pick, that is the ideal time because you can ban Razor right away, which is exactly what Navi has done here, and that limits what Team Liquid can do in terms of picking heroes to try and counter that Outworld Devourer.
Yeah, I really feel like unless you're very, very comfortable playing against OD, you can't let him through on second pick because you can't pick him as second pick unless you have spent all your bans on OD counters in the first phase. And not only then are you telegraphing and then saying to them, oh, please pick him as first pick instead of, waiting till the second of your first phase picks to pick him up. Right. But just... you're letting through so many ridiculous heroes just to try to get an OD that you're not going to get anyway. I feel like that's one of the big advantages of first pick right now. I generally think second pick is a better position to be in. I think it's a little stronger from a drafting perspective. I also think that first pick has a huge advantage in the OD department specifically. And since he's so strong right now, that is actually reasonably big.
Yep, and we see Troll Warlord is actually the third ban from Team Liquid to follow up with their Lifestealer and Wisp first bans. And Navi going to ban out the Razor, as we mentioned, and fourth ban going to come out on the Kunkka. So again, can't say I'm too surprised. Both Kunkka and Razor, basically the two hard carries, or hard counters, pardon me, to OD. So... well, we can see how Navi is drafting at least and making sure that their Outworld Devourer is at least going to have an okay time in what presumably will be the mid lane, though we have seen, solo safe lane ODs sort of, he's one of those heroes that you want to put him just wherever he's going to be up against the least amount of opposition. And as chance may have it, that is the mid lane on many an occasion.
Yeah, I think generally, if you want to be running him solo safe lane, you're planning for that. You don't worry as much about banning out the OD counters because they're going to put them. They're going to put the mid, predicting, oh, there's going to be an OD in mid, and then they're either going to have to rotate and go against your tri lane, or they're going to have to just deal with a suboptimal laning situation and try to make an impact there. But generally, I feel like OD as a tri lane carry, I don't like unless you have a very early to mid-oriented strategy, just because of the fact that as soon as you get that BKB, his carry potential drops like a rock, and he becomes, he'll still pick off supports like crazy, but he won't be able to kill the enemy carry effectively in a 1v1.
Yep, that's always a good thing to point out with OD. That pesky BKB does make his life hell in a handbasket, as it may be. Team Liquid going to go ahead and fourth ban out the Alchemist there after their Troll Warlord, and with that, third pick goes over to Team Liquid, and they grab a Nyx Assassin to go with their Visage and Nature's Prophet, so a fairly well-rounded roster for TL to start things off. Sort of hard to tell where they're going to go from here, as they've got those two supports and that Nature's Prophet, who plays that pretty predictable style, generally speaking, though. Again, just to complement the versatility of that hero, we've seen Nature's Prophet solo mid on a handful of times, and it can work. I don't know about the OD in particular, how well that will work here, but it is just some further variability with the draft that Team Liquid have picked up so far. But Navi, they're going to grab their hard carry nice and early here. They get an anti-mage to go with their OD and Elder Titan.
Yeah, he's going to work very well. Not only is he reasonably good against all of those heroes on the board, because Nyx is someone who likes to build a mana pool and who is really reliant on having good mana. Obviously, Visage ends up with a good mana pool. You can get a lot of good damage out on him, Prophet as well. But because Anti-Mage, late game, he doesn't split push as hard as a Prophet, but he can do some split pushing and kind of relieve a whole lot of pressure that otherwise would, the onus is completely on the team that's against Nature's Prophet to try and just counter push and try and make sure they pick off the Prophet. But the Anti-Mage in the later game can put on huge amounts of pressure, push up very, very safely because of the blink, because he can manta off the majority of disables or silences or slows or anything that might, you know, keep him in range for someone to go. You need to get him with a hard disable, and even those are hard to come by on him because he can dodge everything that isn't direct target with his blink, or that isn't a Stormbolt, because nothing dodges Stormbolt. So I actually think the Anti-Mage is a really excellent pick here to deal with what Liquid has brought to the table.
Yeah, an interesting fourth pick. Liquid actually burning out all of their bonus time as they think about what they want to do with their fourth choice, and they grab a Spirit Breaker to complement their Nyx, Visage, and Nature's Prophet. An interesting choice, though. Spirit Breaker, one that can work very well against Anti-Mage with that bash, and also can help to set up those kills onto Outworld Devourer early on, as OD is one without really a great escape mechanism, can be susceptible to those early ganks, and that's going to be Timbersaw here for the fourth pick for Navi to go with their AM, OD, and Elder Titan. But I worry a little bit looking at the Team Liquid rosters. It's going to be a solo mid Nyx. I mean, generally speaking, they've got 3 supports here, depending on how they want to run that Spirit Breaker.
Yeah, I don't think they would run the Spirit Breaker solo mid because it completely destroys his impact. He can't get any charges out. Right. Not only will he have trouble last hitting, he can put some pressure on with just Greater Bash, but he won't have the mana to charge anywhere out of mid. So it's going to really, really crush his game impact as soon as the OD gets a couple levels up in the Astral Imprisonment.
Right.
So I assume it kind of has to be a mid Nyx, unless they're thinking about running. It's not like they would run a Visage mid against the OD. It would be suicide. He'd lose all of his damage from the drain. But Nyx mid, I mean, all he does is get levels. You can't actually beat an OD. The mana drain isn't powerful enough early in the game to zone OD out, especially if he just, you know, if he gets lucky with a couple of Tranquil procs. I know soon that's not going to be an issue, but it still is right now. Or if he really, really feels like he needs it, he can just get a bottle and not care because your mana burn cooldown is so long, and when he gets a couple of Astrals on you, you can't cast it anymore anyway because it's so expensive.
Right, exactly. And sort of, they could try to do, we've seen once or twice a tri-lane build around the Spirit Breaker, who's the primary farmer, and it was rare. I think we saw it maybe once in Starladder, and if I recall properly, it didn't really work all that well, especially with the double melee of having a Nyx Spirit Breaker, and there are a lot of great offlaners here. We see Navi going to ban out Lone Druid with their final ban, but Darkseer is still in the pool here, so he could be a choice. Bounty Hunter as well, if they were looking for an off-laner, a solo mid Nature's Prophet in this funky tri-lane. It's sort of a weird roster that Team Liquid have set up for themselves, and they only have about 15 seconds left before they have to get executive.
It's going to be a hard carry.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not going to mid the Nature's Prophet against OD because Prophet does well in mid because of his summons, and as soon as he doesn't have the mana to keep summoning them, he's screwed. He's just done. There's the Luna,
Yep, so it is indeed going to be the hard carry, and they will grab Luna. So a nice pick here. I think some of that magic damage to help complement the array of physical damage they have will be nice with those lunar beams. And we'll see what Navi want to grab with their final pick, and it's going to be a Chen. So there you have it. Chen, Timbersaw, Anti-Mage, Outworld Devourer, and Elder Titan for Navi. Holy Toledo, my friend. I have to say, the Navi roster here is intimidating, to say the least. I mean, they have 5 of some of the most powerful heroes, and especially with their roster, I mean, just heroes that are so well-suited for the playstyle of the individuals that will be controlling said heroes. This makes me a little bit nervous for Team Liquid.
I mean, these guys got some of their most impactful heroes from the recent couple of months. I mean, Anti-Mage has always been someone Havost can be an absolute terror on. He's someone that he also has a history of making really good comebacks with if he gets pressured very early. He is very, very good at farming his way back in with that hero. Funnick Timbersaw, everybody knows that's strong. Dendi OD, when he gets farmed, can just have a huge game impact. Kuroki on the Titan, and Puppey on his signature hero that made it all the way to last pick, that Chen. You never see Chen make it to last pick against Navi. I don't know if that's a misdraft or what, if Liquid just really did fear the Crystal Maiden a little more than the Chen with this lineup. Yeah. If you're against Navi, I'd ban the Chen.
I would agree.
He's so good at it.
Yeah, it's absolutely right. I mean, Puppey's a great CM player, but Chen is one of those heroes that is truly on another tier in the hands of just one of those upper echelon top 2, top 3 players in the world. And I absolutely agree. I think Chen is a hero that can make a lot more impact than a Crystal Maiden, kind of all things equal, with a player like Puppey. But it'll be interesting, as I saw a lot of folks saying in Twitch chat. They basically handed Navi everything they wanted here. I'm sure in that draft they were thinking, okay, yeah, sure, Timbersaw, okay. Chen, okay. I don't think there was ever a time in that draft where they were like, damn it, we really wanted that hero you banned out. And I mean, Liquid has an okay roster. You know, they have pretty individually strong heroes, but I don't see that same level of synergy where in the hard carry department, sort of AM versus Luna, we all know who's going to be the harder carry. Pushing potential, that you've got Chen versus Furion, so that's kind of a break even. I don't even see Liquid with I guess they have a sort of a early aggression timing that they're going to be able to hit against sort of the AM and OD who will still be farming, but it's going to be a little bit rough. I think Liquid's going to have to pull some of those crazy strategies out of the hat to make this one happen.
Honestly, I don't think they're going to have a lot of time to pressure the OD. I think they have to do that very, very early because against this mid Nyx, he's going to have very easy last hits. It's going to be no problem whatsoever for him to control this lane and zone Bulba out. And he's gone for the mana burn first, so he's going to get, a little bit done, but it's not going to last. As soon as that Essence Aura starts coming into play, as soon as he gets his Tranquil Boots, if he needs a little bit of extra mana regen in his items to make this lane work, he's okay with that because all he's here to do is get last hits. He's not here to kill you, but look, Bulba already at half life just from the damage he's taken.
Yeah, you're exactly right, because not only does that steal the mana, but it also gives Dendi a little bit of extra damage to harass with, and we see a pretty big disparity. Right now, OD hitting for about 75, and Bulba on the Nyx hitting for only 50, so even just in terms of exchanging last hits, we see very clearly Bulba going to be forced to burn this one healing salve that he's got very early here, and he has no creep kills yet. I mean, he's not going to have this window where he's going to be able to just grab a nice early bottle and get that regen coming. Oh, God, my mistake. He's already got the bottle. I was like, wow, he's got no gold. He was able to pull up, and he has the bottle. I misspoke. Pardon me. It was on the courier. Oh, I hate that. I wish they would show like the courier next to so you click on the hero, it shows what's on the courier for him, so that doesn't happen. Make us casters not look quite as dopey.
Well, yeah, but at the same time, when you look at it, as soon as Dendi has level 2 Astral, Bulba's never going to get a mana burn off ever again. Yep. The int steal is just going to be too much. It's not like Nyx has particularly great int gain. 2.1, I mean, it's okay, but it's not, like, super good or anything that's going to let him keep this spam going. He does manage to, zero out Dendi's mana for now, but Dendi's going to pick up, like, some little bit of mana regen stuff. He's going to get going, and as soon as he goes off in this lane and takes Bulba down to the point where he just can't mana burn anymore, the lane is over.
Yeah. No, I absolutely agree with you. So let's go ahead and introduce our rosters here so everyone knows who's laning where. On our Radiant side, we do indeed have Team Navi. In the top lane, it is going to be a long lane Timbersaw being played by Funnick. In the mid lane is going to be Dendi playing on that Outworld Devour, and that means we are going to have a Chen in the jungle, of course, being played by Puppey. In the bottom lane, that's going to be Kuroki supporting on the Elder Titan, and Havost, no doubt, playing the Anti-Mage, free farming away down here in the bottom. On our Dire side, we do have their opponents, Team Liquid, who are down 0-1 in this best-of-3 series. They need this game to stay in it. We are going to have the Nature's Prophet player. His name is...
Koikva?
Koikva, that's him. I gotta write that phonetic one down and tape it to my monitor. Bulba gonna be in the mid lane playing on that Nyx Assassin, and up in the top that is a tri-lane for Team Liquid. Fluff and Stuff gonna be on the Spirit Breaker. We are gonna see some initiation. Way Too Sexy on the Visage, and they are gonna try to engage on Funnick. He's gonna be able to Timber Chain over towards the secret shop there, and that will keep him alive for now, though he's in sort of an awkward spot here where he's kind of cutting the trees, and I think he's gonna have enough range to Timber Chain out. But alas, it is gonna be Fluff and Stuff stuff on the Spirit Breaker, TC on the Luna, and Way Too Sexy on the Visage. So at present, looks like Funnick is sort of holding his own. He is 0-0, but he is level 2, does have that 1 point in Timber Chain, 1 point in Reactive Armor. So, you know, he now has a Creep Wave shoved into the tower. He's going to hit level 3, so he's doing okay in this off lane. And sort of vice versa down in the bottom, the Nature's Prophet doing all right. He is level 3, has been able to grab a couple of last hits, sitting 6-1, and both hard carries, the Luna and the Anti-Mage, off to a great start. Luna 20-10 versus the 22-3 Anti-Mage. So things kind of ensuing about as predictably as we would have thought. And in the mid lane, Bulba versus Dendi, still that kind of interesting matchup where we see Dendi has just a slight advantage. He is 18-12 versus the 8-0 Nyx Assassin. So I can't say that we're surprised, but this is one thing that Liquid will have to deal with pretty quickly in this match, or I think Dendi is just going to get out of control too fast.
Dendi's got a bottle coming out. That lane is over. I mean, now that he can actually just drain out enough of Bulba's mana, because Bulba's now empty on mana, meaning Dendi can safely just kind of bottle up back to full, or back to enough for him to get off an Astral. And then especially if he manages to proc a, I mean, between Bottle Crowing and if he procs an Essence Aura, luckily once or twice, then he's never going to run out of mana to start Astraling against Bulba. It is interesting that he feels like he needs to go for the bottle, which is one thing that having the Nyx in mid lane does do. OD almost never goes for a bottle because he goes Tranquil for the HP restore, and then he has, between the Tranquil and the Imprisonment, he's almost always going to have enough mana to keep spamming because of the Essence Aura unless you get really, really unlucky. So he has, in a sense, delayed Dendi's itemization a little bit, but I don't think it's going to be significant enough to actually call this a win in the lane for Liquid. Absolutely,
and I think one of the other things you have to remember as well is just the difference in experience from denies. Nyx has no denies right now. Dendi already has 19 here as we approach the 5-minute mark. So Bulba is lower on experience than he should be as well, but they are going to engage on Dendi. There's going to be a charge coming his way. The Nature's Prophet going to come in. He will throw a Sprout, and they're going to have some vision on Dendi. Going to try and get the ultimate off. Not going to be able to do it. That's going to be the first blood, but they make it a 1-for-1. Puppey comes out of the jungle on the Chen. He's able to grab that last hit onto the Nature's Prophet. It's a 1-for-1, but Liquid do grab the first blood, and Visage, Way Too Sexy, actually going to grab that little bit of bonus gold there. So well played. Unfortunately, Dendi didn't get to skill his ultimate. I thought he was trying to cast it there, but 3 points in Astral Imprisonment, 3 points in Essence Aura. So Dendi did all he could right there, stayed alive as long as he could, but alas, I think he got mana burned by Bulba as well, so he wasn't able to Astral Imprison himself. So it was a nicely executed gank by Liquid right there.
Yeah, I mean, I think that was definitely the goal. He wanted to imprison himself right before the that Spirit Breaker charge hit to make sure that he wasn't getting that extra stun, etc., etc. But in the end, 1-for-1, definitely advantage Liquid. They popped the mid laner in exchange for their off laner. You don't want to give up your Furion early, but if you can pick off someone like an OD, it's generally worth it. And then, of course, they got the first blood, so that means their supports have a little bit of extra gold to work with. Get those extra wards up. You already see that the impact is coming out from that. Way Too has plenty of what he needs to get another set going.
Yep. Absolutely right about that. Now, while all that was happening that we didn't mention, TC on the Luna did go Midas first, and she had it right around, or he, I should say, right around the 4 minute 30 seconds is when it was in the inventory. And as we mentioned in the last match, that's a very fast Midas. That's above average Midas timing for Luna. So that is good news for Liquid. Havos not going for the early Midas build. Not that that's very normal on the Anti-Mage, but he did indeed go for fast powered treads in the early Ring of Health. So not even going for that ultra fast Battle Fury build. Instead, going power treads first is really not something we see all that frequently if they're going to go for that fast Battle Fury. So that makes me wonder if Havos is going to do a slightly different build here, and Navi will look for more of a mid-game timing and just try and punish that economic investment for Luna rather than using an economic investment themselves and just having that kind of farm race between the two hard carries. An interesting choice for power treads first.
I doubt that they're going to try to do anything early. His skill build is also a little odd. He's getting the extra mana break. I think the treads and the mana break points that he's putting in are primarily to make him able to completely zone that Prophet out. If the Prophet ever comes to lane, he's unable to get anything, as opposed to, you know, if you went for a more greedy item build and a more defensive skill build, the Prophet could hang out, he could harass you with trees. He wouldn't do great in the lane, but he could put some pressure on your free farm. And as we see, because he has these treads, because he has those 2 points in mana break, he's at, 52 and 11 on his CS. He has absolute utter free farm because Koikva feels completely uncomfortable being anywhere near that lane.
Yep, that's exactly right. And, up in the top, thought they may dive on Funnick here. The level 5 Timbersaw, they did use a charge on that Spirit Breaker, but indeed they did cancel it. 2 points in Timber Chain, 2 points in the reactive armor. They're going to have a tough time trying to kill Funnick here, despite it being a 3v1. Right now, the Spirit Breaker, as well as the Visage, going to dive the tower. They're going to start smacking away at him with a few auto attacks, while TC just starts to pressure that tier 1 tower in the top lane. Glyph going to be used by Navi here. It is tied up 1-1 at the 8-minute mark. Again, game 2 of this best of 3 series. Navi up 1-0 as they did take that first game. This top tier 1 tower, though, falling very quickly in favor of Liquid. Looks like there's going to be no defense coming its way. Not a chance for a deny there from Funnick, and it is going to be a tower kill. A last hit will go the way of TC on that Luna, so that is great news for Team Liquid. We'll see Luna start to pull ahead on that net worth chart by a little bit, 4.4k or so. Again, grabbing that tower kill as well as the early hand of Midas. We should expect Luna to be a little bit ahead of Anti-Mage, but Havos doing a great job. He's holding his own, and now they're going to start to pressure this tier 1 tower down here in the bottom lane, and it may be kind of same story, different chapter, where I think Navi going to be able to grab that tower in just a matter of moments here. But Dendi in the mid lane going to be in a little bit of trouble. He's going to get charged from long distance. Bulba going to come in. He's going to use that Vendetta combo. He's going to try to get the Astral Imprisonment off. Not going to be enough. Visage again going to have the nuke power to take him down, and Navi going to have to sacrifice their mid hero to grab this tier 1 in the bottom lane. They do commit to it. Havos does grab that tower kill, but alas, they lose their Outworld Devourer, and the poor Dendi now 0-2-0 on that OD here at the 9-minute mark.
Still third on the net worth show, net worth chart, though. I'm merging 2 words right there. Just because of how his ridiculous creep from the middle. He's 49 and 35, man. The Nyx is 13 and 1.
Oh, God.
Even with 2 kills in. I mean, they can kill him by committing these heroes from other lanes, but if what that means is that they're putting no pressure on the anti-mage, and the OD is still actually getting really farmed in comparison to other heroes, just because of, engagement in the bottom lane.
Exactly right. Kuroki going to get stunned. He's going to fall. TC on the Luna going to come in. Not going to have much mana to play with here. And this could be a bad fight. Puppey going to be taking a lot of damage. Is going to be able to use the Hand of God, but won't be enough. That is going to be a 2-for-1 as Anti-Mage blinks forward. Does manage to finish off the Luna, so that's a Luna in exchange for the Elder Titan and the Chen of Navi. But now Anti-Mage going to be in a little bit of trouble. Oh, God, he's going to get bashed to the low ground. That bash actually going to help keep Havos alive here. He's going to take some aggro by the creeps. Nature's Prophet going to pour it in and will finish him off. But, oh, man, that was a little bit of unlucky RNG there coming out from Fluff and stuff as he bashed him into the low ground and actually made for an escape route for the anti-mage there.
Well, actually, I think it was actually probably better that he got the bash, simply because if he didn't, the blink was going on to the low ground anyway, and he wouldn't have gotten all that extra damage. Yeah. So Havos may have actually lived long enough to get off one more blink, and that might have gotten him out.
It was
but
a
he
close
didn't have a
one.
TP, so yeah, it was definitely close.
Yeah.
I think either way, it would have been very, very close.
Yeah.
But without a TP, he would have had to run all the way through the jungle and give Koikva a couple of chances to catch up to him.
Absolutely right. So, although Anti-Mage getting taken out right there, he was able to finish off the Luna. So that is great news in terms of at least making his death kind of worth it. Not only grabbing a kill, but slowing down the farm of the hard carry on the opposition. Right now on the net worth chart, Anti-Mage still leading the way at about 5.1k, and Luna now at about 4.7k. So still a bit of a disparity there, and that is really great news for Navi. Again, the Hand of Midas difference means that TC will have at least a little bit of an early farming edge. He's now picked up his power treads and also going to grab a Morbid Mask for a bit of farming. Funnick going to hop a bit too far forward here. I'm not sure what that was. He jumped forward, and I guess he didn't realize Spirit Breaker was nearby, and they get the charge off. TC going to come in, going to burn the Eclipse. That's basically going to be a free kill. Now going to be 6-2 here at the 11.5-minute mark. Liquid, sort of just like last game, they've got a hero kill advantage, but actually Navi finding the better of the farm, leading by about 1,500 gold, 500 experience.
And that's before Anti-Mage comes up with a Battle Fury right there. He's got the second sword, so in maybe 2 minutes, he's still going to have, for Battle Fury treads, 13 minutes, 14 minutes is very, very quick.
Yep.
So expect him to be getting a whole lot of work done in this jungle, and that Luna Midas really doesn't accelerate farm as much as a Battle Fury does on Anti-Mage. I mean, it's pretty ridiculous, the speed with which he farms, because he has that fast base attack time, because he's blinking between those camps, because he's cutting out a lot of the idle time of just walking that so many other heroes have to go through. He can rotate so much faster and get so much more efficient jungle clearing.
Yep.
And basically what's so great about Anti-Mage is every minute he can clear the entire jungle. As soon as the lane's pushed up, he can just come clear it very, very quickly, go back, clear the entire jungle again. It's so ridiculously efficient in terms of time to get gold.
Yeah, that's certainly a good thing to point out, that it's a little bit of a sad precedent now that Anti-Mage is beating the Luna, who had an early Midas before even getting the Battle Fury or going that super fast Battle Fury build. So once he grabs the Battle Fury, it's going to be so hard for that Luna to keep up. I think you're absolutely on the money with that, my friend. But we may see things heat up down here in the bottom lane. Bulba on that Nyx Assassin is level 8, is going to Vendetta forward. They're going to engage on the Anti-Mage, Fluff and stuff. Going to charge forward as well. That's going to be another strike. Puppey did manage to use the Hand of God to try and buy him some time, but not going to be enough. Kuroki going to come in, going to catch a nice Earth Splitter. That'll be enough to finish off the Nyx Assassin, as well as the Spirit Breaker. Puppey going to be able to grab both those kills, so although they do lose their Anti-Mage, Navi able to grab a 2-for-1, taking out the 2 supports of Liquid. Well, the mid and one of the supports, I really should say, Nyx Assassin as well as Spirit Breaker are going to fall, so they do pay the ultimate price to take out that farming Anti-Mage.
Yeah, and to some extent, I mean, you basically have to balance what do you care about more when you're thinking about an exchange like that. Do they care more about getting some extra gold up on their supports, or do they care more about delaying the Battle Fury on the Anti-Mage? I feel like, since the Luna is going a very, very farm-heavy build, she's gone for the Hand of Midas, and she's got the lifesteal, which means she's going to get a Dom Helm, she's going to grab, probably a Wolf to give her a little bit of extra damage to clear creeps with, and someone's going to stack up Ancients for her, so that she's able to clear things so much more quickly. Kuro might be in trouble down bottom lane.
Yep, exactly right. No, another strike on the Spirit Breaker, but, Puppey going to come in. Is going to be able to use the mech, and that'll be enough to keep Kuroki alive. He would have gone down for sure, but now they're going to be able to turn it around. All those Chen creeps going to be enough to finish off that Visage. Nicely done by Puppey to turn that to not only a 1-for-1, but actually keep his buddy alive and finish off the Visage for actually a nice bit of extra gold there. Visage was on a dominating streak. He was 4-0, so Chen going to be able to grab a nice 400 gold bounty for that last hit. Very nicely played by Puppey.
Havost managed to snipe off one of the birds, too, getting him a little closer to his Battle Fury. So it looks like he's going to have it at around 15 minutes now.
Oh, no. Well, Liquid going to be able to grab a counter kill there. A double damage on Bulba on that Nyx Assassin. The Nature's Prophet going to port up, who's now level 11, by the way. Does have a Shadow Amulet to go with his early Hand of Midas and Boots of Speed. So they do grab a kill on that long laner, and they do press forward to try and take out this Tier 2 tower. Glyph going to be used by Navi, and it looks like they may try and defend. Kuro going to come in on that level 8 Elder Titan and will repel the forces. So both sides, I guess, getting a nice kill about the map. Let's take a look at some items here. Of course, Havost very close, just now needs the Void Stone, and he is actually has enough for the Void Stone, so he'll have a Battle Fury any moment now. Outworld Devour, of course, being played by Dendi, now has the Force Staff to go with the Boots of Speed, Bottle, Null Talisman, and a Magic Wand Urn in the inventory of Kuroki. 2 Hand of Midas on the side of Liquid. Again, sort of deja vu from the last match. The one team with no Midas and the other team with 2, and one, of course, in the inventory of Luna to go with that Helm of Dominator, and now the Nature's Prophet going to have the Shadow Blade complete to go with his Hand of Midas, and other than that, not too many other core items on the field. So Liquid, well, they may find themselves with a little bit of a farm advantage once those Hand of Midas start to pay off, but again, we've talked about how that Battle Fury will just make things so difficult in the way of farm. And are they going to try to engage on Dendi here? Yep, Bulba going to be Vendetta. He's going to get the engage off, going to try to use the Impale, and whoa, going to get thrown in the Astral Imprisonment. Fluff and stuff going to charge forward. He is going to have the Nether Strike. That'll be the end of Dendi. Nicely done to get a kill on that mid laner. Funnick going to come in, though. He's going to do a good bit of damage to the Visage, but he's going to get turned around on, perhaps. Looks like the Hand of God going to come out. That will be enough to keep Funnick alive. Now the rest of the forces coming in. Earth Splitter going to make that kill on Bulba a sure thing, and that's going to make it a 1-for-1. The Nyx Assassin in exchange for the OD. Now 6-9 here at the 16-minute mark. Liquid leading the way by 3 kills, but still trailing by just about 2,000 gold and experience.
So they've really managed to keep Dendi down a lot more than, a normal OD would be against a Nyx Assassin, but he's still 4th farmer on the list. And it means that there's less and less pressure on the Anti-Mage. They've gotten the 2 kills on him, but the more they keep focusing on these other heroes, the better off he's going to end up. And now that he's got that Battle Fury and can just retreat to the jungle, where it's much harder to get sight on him for a setup charge, he's going to be farming very, very quickly to try and overcome this Luna, who is now leading the net worth chart.
Yep, absolutely right. And looks like we could see an engage in the mid lane here. Havost going to make his way in. The Tier 1 tower is where we're fighting on the dire side of the map. The tower's still alive. Anti-Mage going to be able to finish off the Nature's Prophet. Elder Titan going to be able to finish off the Spirit Breaker. That's going to be a 2-for-0. Now Bulba going to be in some trouble. Going to get caught in an ensnare from that Dark Troll Summoner. He is going to try to make it away, and indeed he will. Going to burn that Vendetta defensively, and he does survive as he heads back towards that Tier 2 tower in the mid lane. Nature's Prophet does buy back. He's able to finish off the Chen, and I think that was with his ulti, but the fight not over quite yet. Nature's Prophet very well may pay with his life. Down he goes. Elder Titan going to grab that last hit with the Chakram there, sort of sealing the deal for Navi. So I think this fight going to be now maybe a 4 for 2 as they do grab the Luna. Again, that Dark Troll Summoner coming in handy right there. The Ensnare setting it up, and that is going to be a 4 for 1 exchange. The Nature's Prophet falling twice right there as he did buyback and then get killed again in exchange only for the Chen. So right before that fight, we mentioned Luna was leading the way on the net worth chart. Well, not anymore. Now Anti-Mage actually going to pull ahead by about 300, and whoa, it's not over quite yet. Spirit Breaker going to get caught in an Astral Imprisonment. They're going to set it up with the Chakram as well as the Earth Splitter, and he's going to fall. Now Navi actually pulling ahead in hero kills, 11 to 10 here at the 18-minute mark, and very quickly things starting to look a little bit more grim for Team Liquid.
Yeah, this is definitely getting somewhat worse for them over time. They can definitely still recover, don't get me wrong. They have reasonably good teamfight presence. It's probably not quite as good as Navi's between the Elder Titan and the Chen and the OD, but they have the Luna ult, they have the Visage, who's a very powerful teamfight hero. They've got a great line stun coming out from the Nyx, and they have good initiation too, and they can get a lot of good pickoffs. The combination of the Nyx Vendetta, the Spirit Breaker charge, and the Prophet TP has been incredibly effective for them so far this game. What I really think they need to be doing right now is getting some wards up. They need to smoke in to the Radiant jungle. They need to get some wards up that let them gank inside the jungle a whole lot more. And they are going to pick off Funnick right here, but they need to be able to get the Anti-Mage. That's so important.
Yep, exactly right. So I think you're exactly right, and it seems that Liquid are sort of on par with that as sort of point in case they managed to grab Funnick in the jungle right there. And Fluff and Stuff has been very active on this Spirit Breaker. We have to give some credit to him for setting up a lot of the kills that they have. It is tied up 11 to 11 here in hero kills. Liquid actually going to be able to take out that tier 1 tower down in the bottom lane, so some tower exchanging going about as Navi take out that tier 1 tower in the top lane as well. Total tower count now 3 to 2 in favor of Navi. They still have their tier 1 tower in the mid lane remaining, but it seems Liquid have been pretty cautious about staying active and trying to grab as many kills as they can wherever possible. And again, the Spirit Breaker, looking at his stats here, where is he? What is he's 1, 3, and 4. So all right, not quite as active as I would have thought perhaps. Nyx Assassin 1, 2, and 8 has been involved in 9 of the 11 kills, but still. I think you're spot on, and I think Liquid are sort of making the right efforts here to stay active about the jungle, and I think some smoke ganks could go a long way to climbing back this hill. And uh-oh, Funnick may find himself in trouble again. He's going to hop a bit too far forward here. He sort of falls for the Nature's Prophet bait. Down he goes. Funnick, what are you thinking, my man? That's the second time he's done that, where he hops in on one, and Liquid has the trap card set, and the rest of them pop out of the trees, and it ends up being basically just a free kill as he overcommits.
Yeah, but at the same time, Havos is going to take chunks out of that mid tower. He's got his Yasha. He's got 2,200 gold. He's farming very, very quickly right here.
Yep.
And now he's just going to start taking over Liquid's jungle, because Navi have it so well warded that they can really see if they think anyone's moving in to hurt him. So it's actually safer for him to be in the enemy jungle right now, because they have tons of vision of Navi's jungle, but Liquid has no vision of their own to charge into.
Yep.
And Koikfa might be in trouble here. His Shadow Blade's on cooldown. Does Havos want to go for him? Doesn't look like it.
We'll see. Havos thinking about it. Still got 5 seconds left until that Shadow Blade pops up. Havos is perhaps contemplating there, scratching the beard, but alas, not going to overcommit. He's going to start chipping away at the creeps. Does get kind of half of an auto attack off there with that Battle Fury, but now the Ultimate Orb in the bank and another 600 gold, so that Manta going to be coming out for Havos, no doubt. And oh wow, I'm surprised this Nature's Prophet playing so aggressively here. I think Havos may have had an opportunity to make it rain all up on his face, but alas, does get intimidated and backs up. Going to sip up the bottle as Funnick does bottle up the 20-minute haste rune here, and they go their separate ways. You're absolutely right about the Anti-Mage, though. We see on the net worth chart, he's now at 11k, the Luna at about 9.8k, so clearing out that jungle, just that huge mobility with the blink. His farm's out of control at this point. I'm not really sure how Liquid can slow him down, as even if they gank him, I mean, he's just going to be able to recover so quickly at this point. He can just flash farm so effectively.
He definitely can, but they either need to take a lot of towers with that Luna aura and with the Nature's Prophet. They can try to split push Navi to death, but at the same time, an Anti-Mage, like I mentioned, can put enough split push pressure on his own that it's really hard to just rely on that as your strategy, because he can just be countering you in whatever lane you're not pushing. And quite frankly, with the damage he's going to build up by getting all of this extra farm, he's going to be doing it faster than the Nature's Prophet. But I do think, it's the big thing right now for me is that Puppey is doing all this counter warding with his gem. If there were wards in Navi's jungle and Havos couldn't farm safely,
That's a big kill right there. Nicely done by Bulba, pardon me. He engaged on the Nyx Assassin. He got a Spike Carapace off. That set up the stun for the rest of that initiation to come in, and they just had what it took to finish off the Anti-Mage. The Nether Strike kind of the key piece to the puzzle to killing the Anti-Mage. But again, Navi maybe getting a little bit hyper-aggressive between Havost and Funnick there, both falling for that trap card of, hey, it's just one solo, maybe I can do a bit of damage, and then all of a sudden, whoa, you caught me with my wiener in the peanut butter, my friends, because it gets turned around on in kind of a 3v1 scenario. But here we're going to see initiation in the Radiant Jungle. Whoa, a nice ultimate coming out from that Outworld Devourer. Going to do a lot of damage. Still no kills coming out quite yet. The Visage getting dangerously low. The Hand of God going to come out. Now the Spirit Breaker going to fall, so that's going to be a 2-for-1 as Chen gets taken out by the Luna. I don't know how this fight is going to continue on now with Anti-Mage dead. This is not a fight that Navi wants to take. OD going to fall. Now Funnick going to be in a little bit of trouble. Is going to be able to Timber Chain backwards. Will take a bit of damage, but he is going to activate that Haste Rune, so I think he will be able to survive. If only Navi had the Anti-Mage, that fight would have gone so much differently. They did a lot of damage, and if he could have been there to clean up, take out the trash, so to speak, would have gone quite well. But alas, Liquid get themselves a little pick-me-up. Now 15-13 here at the 23-minute mark.
Well, yeah, I mean, that is pretty telling, though, of how powerful Navi's teamfight engagement strength is right now, is that they didn't have the Anti-Mage, and they traded even in a 4v5. Like, if they had the Anti-Mage, that would have probably been a dominating victory for Navi. And so, the fact that they can kill... I mean, the Luna came in a little late. She didn't pop the Eclipse until a little late, so her damage wasn't nearly as much of a factor as it could have been. But it's a big freaking deal that Navi did that well. But now, a nice Roche kill picked up by Liquid, Luna picking up the Aegis. That might be the signal that they can get a little more aggressive. They can try to push a little bit more in. If they can pick off this Anti-Mage again, that could be a very, very big pick.
Yeah, and I thought Nyx might have an opportunity to catch him, but alas, just going to fall a bit short. But you're absolutely right. Nicely done. That successful team fight there set up the first Roche kill of the game at the 23.5-minute mark. Pardon me, and as you mentioned, now that Luna has the Aegis, that could be an opportunity for them to really start putting the pressure on, and also with that timing, we'll see the Nature's Prophet hit level 16 and also grab an Orchid, and also the Luna has picked up the Manta style, right about on par with the Anti-Mage, and Bulba on the Nyx Assassin with a Force Staff. So they have all the tools they need to really try and put some pressure on. Really one of the big disparities right now is there has been a mech in the inventory of Puppy on that Chen forever. That was his first item here, and still no mech on our Dire side. Looks like way too sexy going to be working towards it on that Visage, but only the Buckler right now. He did go the Medallion of Courage first, so that is one thing sort of holding them back in their team fight prowess. But way too sexy, going to be in a little bit of trouble here. Puppy going to be able to initiate with a stun from that Centaur, the War Stomp, to open it up. Dendi rotating his way in, and OD, he's starting to hit hard. He's level 14, 3 points now in Arcane Orb, does have a Force Staff of his own. The Mystic Staff getting relatively close to that Scythe of Ice with another 2,400 gold in the bank. Dendi's a force to be reckoned with, and that will be a free kill in favor of Navi. Now 14-15 as we do approach that 25-minute mark.
Well, and also, not only did he pick up that kill right there, he got both birds. He's so, as you mentioned, he's really, really close to that Scythe of Ice, just picked up the orb. Dendi now, despite all the effort they put into slowing him down, is going to have a Force Staff Scythe of Ice at, like... Wait, what happened? Did he sell the orb too late and only get half back?
Oh, I think he did. Unless there's something, like, hidden on the courier here. No, I think he just bought the Void Stone.
No, he sold it. He sold it and bought the Void Stone. Okay. Yeah. I was sitting there. Yeah, I saw the Void Stone on the courier.
The math
got
oh
my God,
Dendi,
that would be a big mistake right there. Just 1050 down the drain.
Yeah, no, he has the Void Stone, and it looks like Anti-Mage is just going to be going for a Heart of Tarask. He does have the Vitality Booster, another 1,600 in the bank. So right now, Havo's just going for that survivability, which I think is going to be a smart play here to try and go toe-to-toe with that Luna, and eventually, of course, going to have to pick up some lifesteal, because Luna did go Helm of the Dominator first, does have a bit of sustain. Luna is also a scary force right now with about 4,000 gold in the bank. I imagine TC going to be wanting to grab a Butterfly, very common choice on Luna, does synergize very nicely, and does, as always, kind of forces the hand of your opposition to want to grab that MKB. So we'll see if that's the route he goes or not. And there it is. The Scythe of Ice going to be picked up by Dendi. And as I talked about lifesteal on that Anti-Mage, we'll see Funnick on the Timber... pardon me, Kuroki on the Elder Titan actually grab that Vlad. So now in the team fights, they will have that lifesteal on the Anti-Mage. We are going to see a long-range charge come out from Fluff and stuff here onto the Anti-Mage. Does get kind of a lucky bash, but now the Spirit Breaker going to be left all alone. They did a great job pulling him out of position. Down he goes. Anti-Mage going to be able to grab that kill. Now the rest of the fight going to start to ensue. Funnick maybe in a little bit of trouble here. Oh, the Sprout going to be used mid-Timber Chain. So going to be completely thwarted. The Chakram Chakram going to come out. Funnick needs to be a little bit careful here. He's taking a lot of damage, does manage to Timber Chain away, and the rest of this fight going to start to peter out. Looks like Kuroki may get caught here, though. He's completely out of mana, not going to have an escape route. A Chakram going to come in, but won't be enough to keep him alive. And now Funnick, whoa, he actually got caught by that Spike Carapace stun there, as the Chakram did clip that Nyx Assassin. Almost enough to finish him off, but alas, the Nyx just not enough burst damage to finish off Funnick. So when it's all said and done there, looks like that was just a 1-for-1 Elder Titan for Spirit Breaker.
Yeah, could certainly have been a lot worse. Very, very good timing on the Manta. I really, really don't like that Nature's Prophet went for an Orchid first. I think for, you know, in a lot of situations, that's a really good pickup. He's going to try and use it to kill the OD most likely. I mean, maybe he'll go for it right here, maybe not. But against when the person you really need to be focusing on is an anti-mage who already has his Manta style, Orchid's not actually useful. He just mantas it off. He doesn't take any of the bonus damage because it comes at the end when it's removed.
Right.
And he gets rid of the silence, so it doesn't help you lock him down at all.
That's
so he
point.
Just neutralizes a lot of the strength of the Orchid. If you can get it like super early and the anti-mage has his Manta super delayed, it can be very useful. But not once he already has it up. I think he should have just farmed for a Scythe.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with that, and you're right. Going Manta first, it's all about timing, and if the Manta comes out before you get the Orchid, you need to just kind of abandon ship. Perhaps he was too far vested to jump ship at that point, but I would definitely tend to agree with that bit of analysis. I think the Scythe of Ice would really come in handy here, now that, especially now that Dendi has his Scythe of Ice, and we see some more core items coming out for Navi. We see Funnick on the Timbersaw. He is level 14, but now has that Bloodstone again, going for that very classic build. The Arcane Boots first, split the boots, grab the Bloodstone, and now he's got the bottle, and actually a magic stick, not even a magic wand quite yet here. So Luna, let's see, what did she go? Nope, but for the BKB, so did not go for the super fast butterfly, did go the safer route to grab the BKB. I think that makes a lot of sense. Next item though, I'm thinking that butterfly may be a tempting choice. How's our old Nyx Assassin buddy doing here? Arcane Boots and Force Staff right now to go with his bottle and his bracer. Looks like they were possibly going to try to engage on Funnick down in the bottom lane, as Nature's Prophet was Shadow Bladed next to him. The Vendetta, or was he smoked? Might have been a smoked up Nyx Assassin. No, it was his Vendetta on his way down, but Funnick does pour it out and, well, mitigates what could have been a kill right now. We still have a pretty easy game on our hands, or I said easy, a pretty even game on our hands right now. Navi leading by about 2,500 gold in experience, but here at the 29-minute mark, really not that significant. Both sides doing a great job farming, but whoa, they're going to smoke up and head to the top lane. They are going to initiate onto the Luna. The Sheepstick will be used. Luna going to get taken down to about half health, but they're not going to overcommit. They don't have the vision. They don't know exactly where Liquid had their troops remaining, and to their credit, there have been many instances in this match where one has been forward and the trap card has been there, so I can understand why Navi played that one a bit more defensively, though I think they probably had the burst to try and finish off that Luna before reinforcements arrived.
Yeah, I think the big evening factor in this game is Koikfall and that Nature's Prophet now. I mean, even though I don't agree with his item choice, I cannot deny he's gotten a crap load of farm. He might kill Funnick right here with that Orchid. Maybe not, just because he's all physical damage. But at the same time, it's the fact that he's taking towers, that he's relieving a lot of pressure, and that he's farming so much is the only reason Liquid is keeping up against this anti-mage.
Yep, but up in the top lane here at that dire tier 2 tower, we're going to see some initiation. Dendi going to be able to he's taking a lot of damage from that Spirit Breaker, a lot of heals coming out from the Chen. Puppy now taking a lot of damage. Puppy going to be the first to fall. Dendi forced to put himself in an Astral Imprisonment, does get the ultimate off as he pops out, and that will be enough to finish off the Nyx as well as the Spirit Breaker, but it's going to cost him. Navi still fighting. Havos doing a lot of damage. Funnick in as well. The Luna going to fall. It's going to be a 3-for-3. Anti-Mage and Timbersaw, the only two left alive for Navi. Right now, Visage and Nature's Prophet, the only two left alive for Liquid, but it's not going to stay that way for long. We see Visage in big trouble here. Although Puppy is dead, he does still have a couple of Centaurs that he's microing around for a stun rotation, and I think that will allow for them to set up this kill onto the Visage. Down he goes. That will be a 3-for-4. I don't think any buybacks were used there. Nope, everyone's still with buyback off cooldown. A pretty chaotic team fight, and if they were able to finish off Dendi before he got that Sanity's Eclipse off, I think that fight may have gone a bit differently, but alas, Liquid just didn't have quite enough burst damage to finish him off, and Dendi did a pretty crippling amount of damage before he got taken out there in that fight.
Yeah, Havos just really proving he's not only incredibly damaging, but really, really hard to kill. You can see they did actually focus a decent amount of effort to bring him down, then they realized they just couldn't actually do anything about him and had to go for everyone else.
And now we're going to see a bit of counter initiation here, as Liquid did have a few respawn. They engage onto the Funnick Havost combo, and they have enough to finish off the Timbersaw, so they do get a counter kill at the end, and I guess technically that makes that fight kind of a 4v4, at least Liquid grabbing an equalizer kill. Now 20-19 here at the 31-minute mark.
And just, I'm looking at the anti-mage. He's got the heart. He's got another 2,400 gold. I'd expect him to be thinking about a butterfly, as well as, I mean, I think the Luna probably is too. So maybe one of them is kind of thinking early and thinking, oh man, they're about to get butterfly. Maybe I should go for MKB. But you never know. They might just end up both going for a butterfly, both being hard to bring down. But I think that favors, to an extent, Navi, actually, because there's a lot of other good forms of damage coming out of Navi's lineup to help bring down the Luna, even if she's got the butterfly. They've got the good damage coming out of Timbersaw when the BKB isn't running. They've got the damage coming out of OD, and when she gets sheeped, that evasion doesn't function.
Yeah.
So the Hex is going to be very, very critical for that.
That's a good point.
So that, you know, if they can bring her down in the span of a sheep, that butterfly didn't actually do anything.
That's a great point. That certainly is a valid thing to point out. But alas, TC on the Luna does have about 4,000 gold in the bank, so whatever he wants to go, he's going to have that opportunity reasonably quickly here. But Navi recognizing that, well, perhaps they've got a little bit of momentum in this match. Actually, the gold graph is completely zeroed out here. A small experience lead still remains for Navi. But they are going to press up into this bottom lane. They did take out that tier 2 tower a little while ago, so they have all 5 smoked up in the bottom, and it looks like Liquid may be a little bit wise to it. They do have at least 4 members in the base, and the only one not with them is Bulba on that Nyx Assassin. He's at that top tier 2 tower, and he is going to whittle his way back towards the base, and I don't think Navi are going to press too far forward here. I think they're hoping that Liquid may come out of the base to where this tier 2 would be in the bottom lane, but not going to fish their wish on that front, and the smoke will expire, and they're just going to head back to the friendly side of the map. Roshan should be coming up pretty quickly here as well, and indeed he will, actually just a couple of seconds, so my Roche senses are tingling here, Hippie, and we'll see which team goes for it, if either. We see Visage, of course, on our Dire team of Liquid scouting it out with the Familiars. They know exactly that Roche is up. No wards down for either side, so this is sort of an interesting timing where the only vision is thanks to the Familiars, and it looks like Liquid are just going to head straight into the Roche pit, unbeknownst to Navi.
Yeah, with the gem that they picked up off of Puppy, I mentioned earlier that he had one. He got picked off in a fight. Visage has it now. It means the counter warding is very, very easy, especially with Visage Birds, a very effective way to counter. And not only did Navi not have any vision of this, they didn't have time to position for it, but Koikva forced them back to their top tower. He is really, really working that Nature's Prophet split push, getting a lot of work done. He had that lane all the way pushed up, forced a TP from both the OD and the Timbersaw. And of course, with the Medallion, with all the physical damage that Liquid was putting out with the Luna Aura, it was very easy for them to just take Roche down before Navi had a chance to move into position, even if they did know it was happening.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. And looking at that net worth chart, we were talking about how Nature's Prophet is going to start to get a bit out of control, and he's there. I mean, he is number 2 on the net worth chart. He's actually overtaken the Luna and nipping at the heels of the Anti-Mage, only trailing by about 1,500 or so, and he does have the Sheep Stick to go with the Orchid as well as the Phase Boots and the Shadow Blade, and another 4,500 gold in the bank. So Nature's Prophet is absolutely transitioning into that bit more of a hard carry, and there you go. Luna going to go ahead and right-click the butterfly. So sorry, pal. I guess he's not so worried about the sheep stick. Perhaps now that he has the Aegis as well, TC may feel a little bit more safe. But those last remaining tier 2 towers getting taken out. Tower count is all tied up 5-5 now, as the only outer towers remaining are the tier 2s in the mid lane. Both sides actually have them up, as there's a bit of split pushing happening about the map. Navi, though, they're postured around the Dire jungle, and it looks like they want to try and stay aggressive here. I'll be curious to see what Havos grabs next as well, because he has about 4,000 gold in the bank also, again, to complement his Heart, Manta, and Battle Fury.
Yeah, important that the Fury and Scythe now just as good against that Anti-Mage as the OD Scythe is against the Luna, and even more so because it's not like Anti-Mage is going to go BKB.
Yeah. And, oh, poor Kuro. He's going to get caught off guard there. Again, just a little bit of vision. The charge comes in. They used another strike. No, they didn't use another strike. Pardon me. Those were just bashes coming out. And he is going to fall. But, uh-oh, they're going to catch Dendi as well. Uh-oh, this could be huge for Liquid. Let's take a look at the buyback situation here. Dendi has it. There is no buyback available for the Elder Titan, so that's not quite as bad. Dendi may be first to burn a buyback here. He's going to be down for 55 seconds. Liquid with just this explosion of pressure. Navi just completely unaware. They had no ward coverage down. That is a Dire ward here right outside their Ancient, so they had no idea, and great initiation on that Outworld Devour. Nothing Dendi could do about it.
Yeah, I actually really think that Elder Titan pickoff is a lot bigger than you seem to imply right there. The fact that they don't have the Earth Splitter, that they don't have the Natural Order Aura, means that even with Havos coming in right here, oh, they didn't get the stun on the main Anti-Mage, but it means that the team fight potential from Navi is hugely diminished in this engagement.
That's a good point, though. ET is going to come back up here. He is back in the fight. OD going to be down for another 15 seconds or so. Again, Dendi does have buyback if he wants to burn it, but at this point, I think he's just going to save it. The tier 3 tower does take about half damage, and then Liquid going to go ahead and back out. So you're right. Actually, the Elder Titan, although he is one of the supports and he is a lower level, the long-range Earth Splitter gives them such a huge defender's advantage. It makes it so much more difficult for Liquid to press forward. So with him down, it's sort of a similar flavor to that Earthshaker a little bit. With him alive, you got to be so careful about pushing because that initiation with the defender's advantage is so strong with that hero. And I concede to your brilliance, sir. You're absolutely right. Elder Titan maybe being the more driving force for that bit of pushing momentum.
I mean, the OD incredibly important as well, but I mean the fact that the ET didn't have buyback, I just thought was very, very important.
The post in the top lane here. The uh-ohs are coming out. He's gonna get stunned. He's in big trouble. There we go. Anti-Mage gonna fall. Beautifully done. Nature's Prophet set that up. The sheep stick to make it happen.
No
TC came in, and does he have buyback? No.
No.
He does not. He's 200 gold short. Oh, man, this could be huge for Liquid. 80 seconds of no anti-mage. They got to make something happen here. Luna also still has the Aegis, a butterfly in the inventory right before anti-mage went down. The butterfly was right-clicked. As you mentioned, when he sheeped, that evasion actually is completely taken out of the equation. 35% physical damage mitigation gone, and they were really able to cut through that anti-mage like butter to a warm knife, and this is going to be the opportunity that Liquid is waiting for. They may be able to use this momentum to push us into a Game 3 here in Game 2 of this best of 3 series. Of course, Navi did take Game number 1. So Liquid showing us they've got some life in them yet. That gold graph now skewing in their favor by about 2,500. Still not too significant, but definitely a sign that momentum is starting to shift. Again, that defender's advantage with the Elder Titan is absolutely huge. Going to start to harass a bit with that Astral Spirit. There is no glyph available for Navi either. Look at that pushing power from Luna. The melee racks getting cut through very quickly. Down they go. Range racks going to fall pretty quickly here as well. The anti-mage still down for another 25 seconds or so. Liquid still going to hang around. Looks like they're going to rotate their way down to the bottom lane and start pressuring this tier 3 again. That Luna, now level 23, does have an Aegis that is going to expire, well, not too soon, a couple minutes still. So they have a lot of leeway here, and they have a bit of a margin for error, though it doesn't look like they're going to be able to grab 2 lanes of racks. They are going to get repelled. Both Funnick and Kuroki going to press out of the base, and they need to be a little bit careful here not to go too far forward out. Dendi now going to press out. He is going to use that Astral Imprisonment onto the Luna. The Earth Splitter going to come. Luna going to burn the ulti. It's going to get a couple of shots onto the Kuro. Everyone else going to try and back up. Dendi going to be in a little bit of trouble. He's going to fall. The anti-mage going to come in. Some buybacks going to get burned. OD going to buy back, as will the Nature's Prophet. As Havos gets in, that's going to be enough to finish off the Luna. Of course, Luna going to pop back up. Now they're going to be able to finish off that Elder Titan. He did burn the ulti to start this fight off, but alas, he is going to be in the grave now. That natural order going to be out of the equation. Things starting to look a little bit more grim from Liquid as we see Navi in hot pursuit. TC pop back up. He's trying to head for the hills, but Havos trying to track him down. We see the Familiar going to be able to use a nice stun there to slow down Havos. Unfortunately, the blink not going to be enough to... Unfortunately, the blink will allow him that a bit of additional mobility to hop far forward and continue pressuring TC, but look at the support from Liquid right here. They've got Fluff and stuff.
Look at the base. Look at the Radiant base.
Oh my god, you're right. The Nature's Prophet taking out the tier 4s. I was tunnel visioning on the mid lane all the while. He's going to take out the tier 4s. The throne is now exposed for Navi, 25-21. Liquid taking that fight absolutely to the next level right there.
That was, I mean, the Luna, because she's so fast and so hard to lock down, and even when he caught up, she had the evasion running. Oh my god, Koikva, the decision-making right there was glorious. He could have kept fighting. They probably could have caught somebody from Navi, but it wouldn't have been the anti-mage. They wouldn't have been able to man-fight him. And the fact that he just goes in and says, alright, well, if you just want to leave me 2 free throne towers while you're doing all this, I'll just clear out your entire base so you can never be away from your mid lane. And now Liquid is in such an incredible position because any sort of committal from Navi while there are creeps in their base could cost them the game if they just don't have the chance to TP back and stop that throning. Yeah. And we've seen Navi lose to split push before in really big matches. Might I say TI3 Grand Finals, anybody? Might I point that out?
A little bit of deja vu all over again. You're absolutely right, and that was part of the reason Liquid was doing so well to keep that Luna alive. They were just trying to slow down that anti-mage, keep their attention in the mid lane. They did basically what happened to me. Keeping that attention in the mid lane is exactly what they were trying to do, and now, I mean, this Nature's Prophet is just so farmed that even without creeps, he's going to be able to drop that throne very, very quickly if the opportunity arises. We are going to see some engagement here in the top lane. The Nyx Assassin looking like he may be able to survive, and Earth Splitter going to come and actually going to be whiffed, not going to connect with anything. So Kuroki, of course, not going to have that ulti for another 100 seconds or here. That could give Liquid a little bit of a window of opportunity, but I think the Spirit Breaker going to be in big trouble. He does have a barbed armor, or pardon me, a blade mail, but unfortunately not going to do much in the way of keeping him alive as he does get taken out by the anti-mage. But look at this Nature's Prophet just knocking on the front door of that bottom tier 3 tower, and right now the Nature's Prophet with a Maelstrom, Monkey King Bar, Orchid, Shadow Blade, and Scythe of Ice to go with the phase boots. So I mean, the throne's not that tanky, hitting for 400 a pop that quickly without creeps and just trees. I mean, he'll be able to slow down that throne so quickly if they're not careful. Navi staying a bit aggressive here. There's going to be an engagement. TC going to use the ultimate. It'll be enough to finish off the Timbersaw. Bulba taking a lot of damage, but I don't know. I think Navi could be in a little bit of trouble here. We see the Nature's Prophet trying to take out the anti-mage. Is going to be able to use the Sheep Stick. TC still alive. They're going to go toe-to-toe. The lifesteal coming in as Kuroki wanders his way forward. Not going to be enough. Both the hard carries do fall, but still not looking as good for Navi. They do have a defender. Havost is going to be able to buy back right away, and he will defend the throne. So let's take a look at the buyback situation here. Not a lot up. Right now, Luna, a huge buyback advantage for Liquid is the easiest way to say it. They have 3 available, and basically all of them are now on cooldown for Navi, so they are hanging in there, but they need to be careful. Navi very quickly running out of options here in this match. Now 23-28 at the 42-minute mark. Liquid, they're in good shape. They may be able to do it, but it's not over yet. They've got now a 10,000 gold lead, 2,500 experience lead, and wow, I'm just in shock and awe. Nature's Prophet now taking over as the leading farmer on that net worth chart at 26k, anti-mage only at 25k himself.
Only, like it's a low number, but I do agree with you, and I think the biggest thing for Navi is they can't engage when this Prophet is up. They need to pick him off first.
Yep, and uh-oh, poor Puppy gonna get caught here. Not much he can do about it. He does burn the mech. Didn't have the ultimate up, still on cooldown for another 20 seconds. He gets caught in the jungle, and that's gonna be an easy kill, but oh, while that's happening, Navi just gonna push up into the mid lane. They're knocking on the front door. Glyph gonna be used by Liquid. Their tier 3 tower in the mid gonna fall here. Now the rack's gonna be exposed. How's this engage gonna continue? They're gonna try to pressure Havost, but they're not gonna have everything that they need. Luna gonna be dead for another 15 seconds, so they can't take this fight as easily as they would like. OD gonna be able to finish off the Visage. Visage gonna buy back right away. Again, this mid lane of racks are exposed. Now Havost just gonna start chipping away at the barracks here. He's gonna get sheeped again. Needs to be very careful. He's gonna take a lot of damage. Visage gonna come in. The charge from Fluff and stuff as well. They're gonna try to lock down Havost. Dendi got taken out in the mix. Visage actually the one to grab that last hit. The racks are still alive, but are they gonna be able to do it? A lot of low heroes on the side of Liquid. Luna is gonna be back up, and it looks like they're gonna be able to repel. The melee rack's still intact at about half health, but intact nonetheless. A beautiful hold from Team Liquid, as that's it. That repels the forces of Navi, and they are forced to retreat through the dire jungle.
Yeah, and Koikfa immediately TPing the top lane. I was about to say, expect him to come pressure this top tower. Navi, I'm not sure they have what they need to get back. There is a TP on Havost. He can get back there. They do have to burn fort, though. I mean, Koikfa gets them to burn fort, runs away, and reminds them, hey, I'm still Furion. You can't leave me alive if you want to be putting pressure on somewhere else. And he might go for Havost. No, all right.
Yeah.
For a second, he turned around. He looked like he was going to engage. And I was like, that would be such a huge kill if he got it. But the rest of Navi right there probably would have fed himself away, which is exactly what Liquid can't do, is lose this Nature's Prophet. He is their single most important hero right now.
Yep, and now Koikva has the Mjolnir now to go with, again, the MKB, Orchid, Shadow Blade, and Scythe of Ice. Another 3,000 gold in the bank. So around this point, it's where the buyback timers become more of an issue than the actual gold. Furion's timer going to be coming up in just about 5 seconds, and he'll certainly have enough to buy back. Roshan going to respawn here at the 45-minute mark, and Liquid going to be able to grab it once again. Rosh going to go down. That's going to be another Aegis of the Immortal in the inventory of the Luna. Of course, this was the 3rd Roshan kill, so Cheese does come out, and it will end up in the inventory of Bulba on that Nyx Assassin, who now has a Blink to go with his 4 staff, Boots of Travel, and a Ghost Scepter. So the big items are indeed coming out, and Anti-Mage, he still sort of has 1 item slot, but probably going to want to sell those treads, grab the Boots of Travel, so he can open up that item slot that right now really has to be reserved for a Scroll of Town Portal. That's probably the most important item that he has to be able to get back in time. He's going to go ahead and sell it. He's going to grab a Demon Edge, so probably going to be going that MKB, yep, to try and counteract the evasion on that Luna, but going to have to be a little bit careful right here. Uh-oh, Havo's going to get stunned thanks to the Bulba Spike Carapace. Chen actually going to be the first to fall in this fight, sort of south of the Radiant Secret Shop. Havo's in big trouble. Havo's going to fall. Looking at the buyback status, he doesn't have it. That's going to be 100 seconds of a dead Anti-Mage, and I think that may be enough to seal the deal. It looks like we're going to be going into a 3rd match, my friend. It's a 5v3 on the field, and I don't see any way that Navi can stop the impending push here from Liquid, given they've got the Cheese, the Aegis, and a 2-hero advantage on the field. And there's no glyph.
Remember what I said at the start of Game 1, that Koikfa was really good, and I really liked the impact he was having on Liquid, and that he was making a lot of stuff happen? This game, man, Koikfa, because they were in a bad position, and then he just got them so much with good split pushing, good pressure, making sure everything was cleaned up, getting great farm, and taking out those 2 towers to expose the throne so Navi could not play aggressively.
Yeah.
He just really, really made it work, getting his sheep up, getting his MKB in the late game to make sure they controlled that anti-mage was huge. Excellent, excellent play.
Absolutely right. A titillating game at that, 35-25. Liquid going to level out this best-of-3 series, and that will take us into a Game 3 ace match after 45 minutes of gameplay. Very nicely done. That Nature's Prophet, in my opinion, was the MVP, ending 10-4-16. One hell of a match with, after 45 minutes of gameplay, 775 GPM. That is damn impressive.